Yeah, that pretty much sums up what driving the new A4 is like. It's like weird because Audi's won awards for their engines, and this particular one is the 2-liter TFSI, which is a brilliant engine in other cars. But in the A4, it's almost too subdued. It's like an award-winning engine, and it's done amazing things. But I'm not feeling that oomph in driving the car that I expect from an Audi. And I'm an Audi fan, right? I won't lie, I'm like an Audi apologist. It's like deeply entrenched in my nostalgia. My dad drove an Audi when we were kids. So I like Audi, and I'm almost, it's like by default, if I get into an Audi car, I already like it. So it's cheating in a way. So I was very excited to get into the new A4, and it's alright. It's okay. One of the things I loved, one of my favorite cars that I ever drove, was the Audi A5 Sportback. The old, I think about 2 generations ago, whatever. And what was great about that car, it was also the first car that I ever drove that had different sport mode, that had different drive modes that you could switch at the change of a button. And this car has that too. And what was cool about it in the A5 Sportback and subsequent Audis is that when you switch from comfort to eco to dynamic, there's a tangible change in the car that you're driving. Now, granted, we're sitting here in rush hour traffic, so you're not really feeling that dynamics going on. But when you got to more open road and you switch it into dynamic, there's more revs, you feel that, but the car doesn't feel like a different car, which is something I've come to expect from Audi. Now, I don't know if it's just because of how they've tuned the engine, or if it's a combination of the engine and the gearbox, or whatever the case may be, but in the new A4, it's just not working. Maybe it's different in the TDI engine and the smaller 1.4. But I feel like if I'm going to spend 450,000 Rand plus on an Audi A4, I want that Audi driving experience, and I don't feel like I'm getting it in this car. Somebody told me once that Audi, in a way, has become the new Mercedes-Benz. But he didn't mean that in a complimentary way. It wasn't a thumbs up, that's a good thing kind of thing. What he meant by that was that Mercedes-Benz was like an old person's car, in that it was stately and respectable. I don't know that it's necessarily working for Audi. I like what they're doing in terms of design, where Mercedes-Benz is being very flash and youthful in the design language. I don't know that that's a look I agree with, but and Audi's like doing that old Mercedes-Benz thing. Simple, suave lines, very beautiful, like classic in a way, right? We're not out there, but when you look at the car, you're like, there's quality there. You can just see it in the design. And that's good. That's a good thing, right? But on the flip side of that, it's like the driving character of the car is also going in that way. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if that's what you want out of a car. If you're looking for a sedate, calm, measured drive, then that's cool. But that's not what I look for in an Audi. I like that when I'm driving a bit slower, but I like to feel that when I start giving the throttle a bit of a tickle, that the car wakes up from a slumber. And that's something I experienced in other Audis. And it's just not happening in this A4. And like my wife says, the car is boring. Right? Now, granted, this is a woman that cannot drive. So I don't know how important that opinion is. But I mean, if your passengers are in the car saying it's boring, and you're not disagreeing with them, and you're behind the steering wheel, and that says a lot. Having said all that, maybe this is like if you are looking for a calm, measured car that can go fast when you want it to, but not increase your blood pressure, then maybe the new A4 is for you. It's like there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe it's just not for me. But over and above that, I mean, even putting that aside, it's not as if you're getting into the Audi A4 and you're just having an outright crappy drive. That's really not the case. It's more a case that for me personally, it's a case of expectations not meeting reality, kind of. So let's go with that.